Focus. It's not just a word, it's a direction, a decision, a discipline. And for many of us stepping into this new year, focus is the very thing we've been avoiding because focus requires clarity. Focus requires honesty. Focus requires pruning. Focus requires choosing a path and letting go of the ones you were never called to walk down. So today, as we step into 2026 together, I want to talk about the kind of focus that doesn't burn you out, it brings you home. Welcome to Real Talk with Katie Kim. If you join me for the Advent series, The Man at the Pool of Bethesda, Mary and Martha, The Boy with the Loaves, The Road to Emmaus, then you know those stories were not random. They were preparation because each of those stories whispered one through line truth. God is already here, but we must choose how we respond. And as I prayed and journaled over my silent retreat and through the Advent series, and as we start this new year, one word kept rising up, sharp, simple, and almost annoyingly clear. Focus. Not focus as extreme discipline, not focus as productivity, not focus as hustle, focus as spiritual direction, focus as obedience, focus as clarity, focus as peace. Focus as God saying, stop scattering your energy. Stop living divided. Stop running after every opportunity. I need your attention, not your exhaustion. This episode is going to feel different. It's not about doing more. It's about doing less. And it's about eliminating the noise so you can hear the voice. So let's walk this out. What does focus actually mean for you this year? Pause. Breathe. Answer this honestly. Is your problem focus or is your problem too many distractions? Because women like you and me, we don't lose focus because we're weak. We lose focus because we're capable, we're competent, and we carry about 19,000 things at once. Most people wouldn't even notice the strain, but focus, true holy focus, means you stop performing every role you can play and you commit to the role you were actually called to play. Focus is not intensity. Focus is clarity. Focus is choosing the narrow path, not because it's smaller, but because it's yours. So ask yourself, what does focus look like in my life, in my leadership, in my business, in my spirit? Let the answers rise. Let them come up. Let's now talk about noise, because before you can focus on anything, especially in a silent retreat, you have to quiet everything down and you have to audit everything. Noise is anything that demands your attention but doesn't deserve it. Think of the noise on your calendar, right? Noise may look like people who expect access but don't offer value, conversations that drain you, opportunities disguised as distractions, comparison that steals your confidence, habits that dilute your discipline, commitments you made out of guilt, not discernment, ideas that don't align with this season, platforms that scatter your creativity, fear-driven decisions, overfunctioning, internal pressure to prove yourself. And here's the real question. What noise have you normalized? Because you cannot enter 2026 with clarity if you refuse to shut the windows, letting all the wind out, right? If you refuse to shut anything down or do a really true noise audit. This year, your job is to quiet the noise so God can elevate your signal. Do you remember Jesus' words to Martha? You're worried about many things, but only one thing is necessary. One thing. Let me ask you something. What is your one thing for 2026? Your one mission, your one direction, your one priority, your one offering, your one focus. You already know it. You've known it for a while, but it's buried under task, expectations, and roles that you probably never asked for. So say it out loud. My one thing for 2026 is, and let this be the beginning of alignment. It is impossible to focus while holding on to everything. You cannot carry clarity while you carry clutter. Strategic pruning is not punishment, it's precision. In a vineyard, for example, the branches that bear fruit are the ones that get pruned so they can bear more fruit in the next season. All the energy goes down to the roots to make them stronger. So let me ask the question that opens everything. What needs to be cut, closed, or simplified so you can focus? Be honest. Is it an offer, a relationship, maybe a client, a pattern of overgiving, a platform you don't even like, a habit you've outgrown, a role you never supposed to hold, a project born of fear instead of calling, a need to be everything to everyone? Because focus without pruning is just a prettier version of burnout. And I want you to hear this with grace. You're not overwhelmed because you're unworthy. You're overwhelmed because you're over obligated. So ask yourself, what am I carrying because I feel guilty, not because I feel called? That's the one thing Jesus is pruning. And when you release it, peace returns, clarity returns, focus returns. We talked about on the road to Emmaus that Jesus walks with two disciples who don't recognize him. He doesn't rush. He doesn't force revelation. He doesn't demand clarity. He walks one step, eeboo, one step at a time. Your focus in 2026 will not come from sprinting from one activity to the next activity, from one task to the next task. It will come from pacing your soul with God's pace. So ask yourself, where am I moving faster than God? Where am I resisting the step he keeps showing me? Slow down long enough to see him beside you. You don't need more focus. You need to trust what you already have. The boy with the loaves didn't multiply anything. He didn't perform the miracle. He simply handed over what he had. Some of you are holding on to the loaves and the fish just in case, and it's diluting your focus. This year, ask, what resource, idea, or offering am I withholding from God because I've convinced myself it's not enough? Focus is trusting that He is enough. Let's make this real. Focus is not a wish. It's not a mood. It's not a season. It's not a vow. It's a commitment to clarity, direction, pruning, obedience, priority, peace, God's pace, God's voice. So I want you to say this out loud. In 2026, I choose divine focus. I choose clarity over chaos. I choose obedience over options. I choose depth over distractions. That is my vow. That is my word, and that is my direction. So as we step into this new year, I want you to feel peace. You don't need more intensity. You don't need more effort. You don't need more opportunities. You don't need more hands on deck. You need more focus. The kind of focus that simplifies, the kind that clarifies, and the kind that aligns with your spirit and your strategy. The kind that places your eyes back on Jesus step by step, eeboo, all year long. If this episode grounded you, if it inspired you to enter 2026 with new eyes, new focus, please share it with a woman in your circle who needs clarity as much as you do. And welcome to 2026. Happy New Year, the year of focus, and you're ready. Let's go. Before we wrap up, if someone in your world needs this conversation, a founder who's carrying a lot and ready for clarity, send this episode to her. These messages land deeper when we share them. And if you're in that space where you know your business can grow, you feel the potential, but the next strategic step isn't fully clear yet, let's talk. You don't need a new identity. You don't need to force a direction. You just need clarity that's aligned with your goals, your numbers, and the life you want to lead. I invite you to book a call with my team. We'll look at where you are, identify the real leverage points, and map the smartest next move, whether that's one of our free resources, a workshop, or deeper support. Clarity creates momentum. Let's get yours. Let's go. The information in this podcast is for educational and informational purposes only. It is not legal advice. It's not financial advice. It's not investment advice. Real estate development, like any investment, carries risk. Before you make decisions, you should always consult a licensed professional, your attorney, your CPA, or your financial advisor, to name a few, to make sure you're making the right choice for your situation. I'm here to share insights and strategy, but you're responsible for your own decisions, and each situation is unique. So make sure you contact your professional team to give you your specific guidance for your specific case, as each real estate development's different and unique and has its own challenges and opportunities.